to you today is called Otis and the Scarecrow. And as you look at the cover of the book, I want you to think about, Ricky, I want you to think about, is this a fiction book or a non-fiction book?
No.
And raise your hand. Serenity.
Non-fiction.
Okay, what makes you think it's non-fiction?
Because the scarecrow real.
Okay, scarecrows are real, but let's look closer at the picture. Actually, let me see. Closer at the picture. Do you see anything in here that might not be real?
I know what mine is.
Aiden?
The red truck.
Okay. The tractor, look at the face. Do the tractors that we drive or farmers drive, do they have faces on the front? No. So what do you think again? We think this is, so what do we call that?
Fiction.
Fiction. Good, fiction. Remember when we're looking just sometimes at the cover of the book, if something looks like it's kind of a fantasy, that it couldn't really happen in real life, that's a clue, Zakai, that it's fiction. Okay? Remember a good clue is fiction is fake. Okay? And nonfiction is real. Okay. All right. Otis and the Scarecrow. Who do you think the main characters are going to be?
Otis and the Scarecrow.
Yeah. Okay. It was summer when the Scarecrow first came to the farm where the friendly little tractor named Otis lived. Back when the corn was tall and ripe. What does that mean if the corn was ripe? Raising your hand. Think about what we learned about farms. Kason?
It's ready to be picked.
It's ready to be picked, okay? So the corn's ready to be picked. Okay, so here's the new Scarecrow. Okay. Take a look at his face. What is the expression on his face look like?
Mad.
Mad. Okay. Otis. Who was Otis?
The
Tractor. Otis recalled how the crows had scattered at first. They wanted nothing to do with the Scarecrow, which made the farmer very happy. Otis was also happy. A new friend had come to live on the farm. If the crows are scattering, what does that mean? What does that mean, Elizabeth?
It's going away.
It means the crows are going away. So is the Scarecrow doing his job?
Yes.
Yes, because the farmer does not want the birds to eat his crops, does he? No. But when Otis went to welcome him, the Scarecrow didn't smile or say hello. He just stood there, a sour look on his face, staring at the cornfield. After a while, Otis just left him alone. Why did Otis leave him alone?
Because he wasn't playful.
He wasn't playful, was he? He just had a sour look on his face. If somebody has a sour look on their face and they're not talking to you, is that going to make you usually want to stay and play with them? No, you'll probably walk away, huh? Okay. Well, when the farm animals came by to greet the Scarecrow, once again, he didn't smile or say hello. He just stood there, that sour look on his face, staring at the cornfield. The animals didn't know what to think. Who was this new creature? The horse curled his lip at the Scarecrow's musty smell. The ducks pointed at his tattered clothes, and the little calf and puppy were frightened by him. Finally, the bull snarled, huffed, and turned away, and the Scarecrow just stood there, all alone. If his clothes are tattered, what might that mean? Hannah? If somebody's clothes are tattered, it means that they're kind of ripped up, old, shaggy looking. But usually if you're making a Scarecrow, you're not putting your best clothes on the Scarecrow, are you? Putting your old rags and stuff, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Summer passed, and by the crows came back around. They perched, picked, and pecked at the Scarecrow. Otis noticed that the Scarecrow didn't shoo them away. He just stood there with that sour look on his face, staring off at the cornfield. Otis puffed a soft sigh and turned to catch up with his friends. So where's everybody going right now?
away.
They're going away, going up the hill, aren't they? Autumn eventually arrived, and the days grew shorter and cooler. Harvest time had left the fields bare, except for the plump pumpkins dotting the fields orange. If the fields are bare, then what does that mean?
Nothing's showing.
Nothing's left, right? It's all gone. What else in the fall can become bare?
Leaves.
Winter.
Trees.
The trees can become bare because it's losing all of its leaves, right? Good. Otis began pulling wagons filled with children eager to pick out a pumpkin to carve into a jack-o'-lantern. And the farm looked different, but Otis loved the changing seasons. And he worked and played as hard as ever. Puff, puff, puffity chuff. It was a splendid time on the farm for being together with family and friends. Did I show you that picture? The cool air drifting through the hills made the animals more rambunctious than ever. A simple game of follow the leader turned into a reckless race over the rolling hills. A game of hide and seek turned into a rowdy rendition of Ring Around the Rosie, and the animals playfully circling Otis as he sat counting 1 puff, 2 puff, 3 puffity puffs. When Otis tuckered out from all the games, he headed up the hill to the apple tree. His frisky friends would join him, and when they were all sitting together, Otis would challenge everyone to a different game. The quiet game. It's a good game, Joshua. The quiet game. The quiet game is a contest in which everyone must stay quiet and still. No sound, no laughing, no snorting, no quacking, no giggling or puffing. And the player who stays the quietest, the longest, wins. Otis knew that animals loved playing any game, even one that challenged them to sit still. To start the game, he would surge his engine to get everyone's attention, taking a deep breath of air, and let out a long, soft puff, puff, puff. Otis would sit quietly and look over the farm. There was Mud Pond, full with the autumn rains, and there were the plump pumpkins dotting the fields orange. Hannah, scoot back a little bit. There were the shocks of corn fodder all in a row. And there was still the Scarecrow sitting all alone, just staring at the field. All the animals are up there having a really good time, aren't they? What's the Scarecrow doing?
It's scaring away the birds.
Is he even scaring away the birds anymore?
No.
Not really. Does he kind of look lonesome over there?
Yeah.
Kind of does, doesn't he? The puppy was always the first to lose the quiet game. He just couldn't sit still. The bull would twitch his nose, which made the little calf giggle. And this made the bull chuckle with a snort. And the bull's snort would amuse the ducks, and their bottoms would wiggle as they held back their giggles. The sight of the ducks wiggling their bottoms would amuse the horse, so much that he would roll on the ground, neighing with laughter. At this, the ducks would quack out loud, and soon everybody would be laughing, snorting, quacking, and giggling, and this always left Otis the winner, a big grin on his face as he sat under the apple tree with his friends. So who has the most self-control? Otis has the most self-control. Yeah, he wins the quiet game every time. One day, a cold rain set in, and Otis and the animals ran for cover under the apple tree. They huddled together for warmth as Otis looked over the farm. There was the overflowing mud pond. There were the shiny, wet pumpkins and soaked corn shocks all in a row. And there, swaying back and forth in the cold wind, Serenity, put that away. In the cold wind and rain was the Scarecrow. Otis couldn't take his eyes off of him. He couldn't stop thinking about it. He thought about how that Scarecrow must feel. How do you think that Scarecrow is Scarecrow?
No.
No. Does he have a great big smile on his face?
No.
No. But he's still lonely, isn't he?
I hope he keeps wishing.
And finally, Otis stood up. What do you think Otis is going to do?
Gonna get it.
He marched down the hill, puff, puff, puffity chuff, and crossed into the empty cornfield. And without hesitation, Otis chuffed and puffed straight to the Scarecrow. Back under the apple tree, the animals watched intently. They're watching Otis. What is he? Why is he? Otis looked up into the painted eyes of the Scarecrow and smiled. The Scarecrow didn't smile back. He just stared off at the empty cornfield as always. The two of them stood quietly in that great big field as the wind and rain battered them. And then Otis turned his body around and backed right up alongside the Scarecrow. And with a chuff, he sat down right next to him in the cold rain. Suddenly, the little calf and the puppy scampered down the hillside, crossed into the cornfield, and curled right up next to Otis. Gradually, the cow and the horse ambled down the hillside too. And before long, the ducks waddled their way down also. They're all following who?
Otis.
They're all following what Otis is doing. And finally, the big bull sauntered down into the field, joining the others. And Otis surged his engine to get everyone's attention, took in a deep breath of air, and let out a long puff, puff, puff. Otis and the animals sat quiet until the puppy couldn't sit still another minute, and the bull snorted on the calf's ears, and the ducks wiggled their bottoms, and soon everyone was giggling and quacking and laughing and even puffing. Everyone except the Scarecrow, of course, who never uttered a sound. Michael? Yet as Otis watched, he couldn't be sure, but he thought he might have seen the Scarecrow smile. Either way, Otis thought the Scarecrow didn't look so lonely anymore, surrounded by his friends. Now let me ask you this. Did Otis get anything back from that Scarecrow?
No.
Did that Scarecrow all of a sudden make Otis laugh?
No.
Did that Scarecrow give anything to Otis, like a toy or anything?
No.
Otis didn't give anything back, but did that keep him from going and sitting with that lonely Scarecrow?
No.
He still went and sat with him, didn't he? If you see somebody sometimes who might be lonesome, and they might have a grumpy look on their face, but they're still lonely, you know what you need to do?
Make him
Be
feel
like-
better.
Be like Otis.
Make him feel better.
That's right, because it's just the right thing to do, isn't it? Okay. All right, you guys,